People would assume like Asian parents are very conservative. When Nicky first introduced Rebecca to your family, what was it like?
I don't want to go under a fake marriage and lie to my parents. That was on the last day on the way to the airport. I confessed to my parents.
Better timing, honey.
I was really thinking, I'm not gonna have my family anymore. At one point, I might not have my parents anymore. Like they cannot understand and they cannot support me.
This is Nicky and Rebecca, a Chinese-Danish couple I met in Chengdu a few months ago. In China, being in an LGBTQ relationship often face difficult choices, especially when it comes to marriage and family expectations. Many couples face pressures following a traditional path, but Nicky and Rebecca decided to do things differently. So what is their story like? What cultural differences have they experienced dating across East and West? And how did Nicky's traditional Chinese family react to their relationship? Let's go find out in the video.
Thanks a lot for the time. Can you guys introduce yourself to the audience?
I'm Nicky and I'm Chinese. So I'm actually from Sichuan and I moved away to Germany when I was 25. And now I have not been living in China for more than 12 years. So I live in Germany and I'm turning 38 by end of this month.
I'm Rebecca. I'm from Denmark, half South American. I moved to Germany also around the same time as you. That's where we met, in Berlin.
Cool. So how long you guys been together?
It will be our 8th anniversary next month. Yeah. We met each other in a dance studio. So we were both like attending a lot of straight dance classes. So there was like one very famous straight dance studio in Berlin called Flying Steps Academy.
Shout out.
Like because we're like in the same crew. So she was watching one dance. I was like really performing like one song by Michael Jackson. And afterwards, she came to me and said, "Oh my God, that was so hot!" Like I get like all heat up, and then
wow,
yeah. So
couldn't be more direct, right?
Yeah. So I was like, she seems to be flirting with me, but I'm not sure, you know. So, but very quickly later, you know, I think it's just several days later, right? Like we were like in a bar. So we all got tipsy, so she made it very clear. She's like, yeah, I think I'm very into you, Nicky. So, yeah.
When I like something, I go for it.
Any cultural differences dating each other?
A lot.
A lot. I would say like European girls, they are like very independent, especially the Nordic girls. Before in China, when I was dating Chinese girlfriends, somehow the truth here is because I look like tomboy growing up. So they always view me as a man, you know, and they also expect you to take on the boy's role in a relationship. It's like, oh, I need you to take care of me and I need you to do this and that for me. Thanks to Rebecca, that's the first time I feel I'm being seen as a woman. And that's also the first time she said, oh, I'm beautiful. Instead, like a lot of people in China, they will use the word handsome to describe me, which is very weird for me, you know. Growing up, I always feel like, that's weird. Like she wants equality, which is good because exactly like I said before, I was seen being the man role. So a lot of times I don't mind to pay more. And when we first got together, she made it very clear. It's like
that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, it took me a long time to argue with her. I'm like, I don't like to calculate numbers and figure out who needs to pay for this and that. And she said, no, this is very important for me.
I think that's something very Northern European, that because there is a lot about equality even between men and women. So I've grown up with that mindset that nobody is supposed to be paying for you. I would say now because of the Chinese culture, I don't necessarily always see it that way, like that you should be able to give each other some things sometimes just because you want to.
Yeah. So another cultural difference I think interesting is also like Asian people, we tend to be very peaceful. And a lot of times we don't say what's really on our mind.
I agree.
Yeah, whereas they are very outspoken.
I think until this day, maybe sometimes.
Yeah, I'm like, honey, that's very straightforward. And she's like, isn't that better? We just say out loud and communicate issues instead of like trying to hide your real feelings. Sometimes straightforward might be rude and sometimes it might be a good thing. So there's always a balance.
What I found out about this is like in Asia, in China specifically, like you don't say it, you just expect another person to get it.
Yeah.
If you don't get it, 1,000 times later happens and then you like explode and you will finally say it. I feel like that's like a Chinese culture.
Oh,
I think
definitely,
that's very true. Important in any relationship that you are able to communicate your needs and thoughts, and also just like, I felt hurt by this, so the other one can adjust. It's like, okay, I did not know this would hurt you, so let me also learn from this, you know.
Yeah, so from you, Rebecca, any cultural differences you're struggling with or like you're enjoying?
I would say, yeah, I have more that I enjoy rather than finding difficult. You guys are so family-based, like family means a lot to you, and how you treat even people you don't know, strangers, you're also immediately having this like, ni hao mei, or like you make yourself very familiar very quickly, being super friendly with each other. I really like that. Even though there is not the words coming out, maybe as like you guys don't express yourselves with like I love you or something, but you do it with all your gestures. Words can be said, action speaks louder, and I feel Chinese people are all about that.
I've started a long-term partnership with Chinese Zero to Hero. It is an online Chinese learning platform that offers courses for learners from beginner to advanced level. Unlike traditional textbooks, Chinese Zero to Hero teaches Chinese through real-world context, using examples from popular Chinese dramas and movies. My favorite thing about the course is how it breaks down the HSK grammar curriculum into simple, easy to understand explanations, making the learning process way more entertaining. The platform was also created by two founders who are currently living abroad, so they understand the real challenge of learning a new language. If you want to improve your Chinese, make sure to check out the link in the video description. Now let's get back to the video.
People would assume like Asian parents are very conservative. When Nicky first introduced Rebecca to your family, what was it like?
Here's the thing, I first came out, was that 3 years ago now? Yeah, after COVID, I came back home. So that time when I was home and we talked a lot and they were like, what's your future plan? You know, this type of dark topics.
Typical topics.
That time, I felt very different versus when I was in my 20s. I'm done with my PhD. I had a job. I feel very independent, and also all those years living in Germany really reshaped me as a whole new person. I start to feel I want to live this life, and I don't want to go under a fake marriage and lie to my parents. I want to be authentic. That was on the last day. I was about to leave China and meet her in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
On the way to the airport, I confessed
Couldn't
to my
have been
parents.
a better timing, honey.
Yeah, but the topic was there, and my parents was really asking me a lot of questions, crying in the airport already. We kind of always know, but we don't want it to face the reality. I don't know how this is gonna end, but we have to say goodbye because I need to, go to my flight. But then afterwards, they text me loads of like crazy messages. So, it's always this phase. First is like going crazy, and then calm down, and then you're in the face of denial. So my parents has went through all that. Afterwards, I was trying to really communicate with them. I thought this is gonna take years because I had some friends, back in Shanghai, they came out to the parents, and then it took them years to accept, or some would never accept. I was very lucky after just 1 month, and my mom came to me like on the New Year day, I think 2023. Yeah, so she was texting me and saying, oh, I just want to wish you, Happy New Year. And there we didn't talk for several days because we were like, every time we talk, we just fight. And she was like, I hope we move on as a happy family. Like, I don't want to fight with you. You are my daughter. And I was like, yeah, but mom, we cannot pretend what's been said didn't happen, because all I told you was the truth. And I want to pursue my own happiness. And she said, yeah, I understand. So I accept it. So let's move on as a happy family. And I was like, what?
Huh? Yeah, after the drop, because you were at the point where you thought, fuck, I'm not gonna have a family anymore.
I was really thinking, fuck, I'm not gonna have my family anymore. At one point, I might not have my parents anymore. Like, they cannot understand and they cannot support me. Yeah, I was really to the point I was like, oh my God, But by that time, I never mentioned I had a partner. And I was like, oh, so there's one more thing I need to tell you. He's like, what? Actually, I have a partner. She's been with me for 5 years now. Like, we've been together and we are very happy together. So if you are fine with this, I want to introduce her to you. She's like, what? And she was like, who is she? And I was like, so her name is Rebecca and she's Danish. So said a little bit background of her, and she's like, send me a picture.
My mom asked for the same thing.
Yeah, it's so funny. And I was like, okay. So I took a picture of her and sent it over, and she's like, she's like, I think Rebecca is a very beautiful girl. How come she cannot find a boyfriend?
It's like, and the fact that it goes there is like, oh, women must find women because they cannot find a boyfriend.
That's a funny mindset.
Yeah, that's a very funny mindset. It's like, no.
Yeah. But I mean, how do you expect them to know? Because these are all so new stuff for them. Because later I came to understand, like, you really cannot blame them. because they grew up in that, decade.
It still took maybe a year before we then actually came to China
Yeah.
together. That is the most beautiful thing with your mom, like, or with your family overall. She greeted me with a hug. They had also made sure, like, we're gonna have a family gathering that day, like the entire family is gonna be there for dinner. And I was like, oh, I'm meeting everyone. Okay, all right. And she really stood up and in English said, like, welcome to the family. That was so beautiful. It's like, it's still something till this day. I'm like, it was so nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like Asian parents, the beginning is hard, then it becomes like sweeter. It's like adds up,
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's actually the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any like cultural differences between the LGBTQ culture in China versus in where you're from or Germany?
For me, I think the differences can be huge, but because I've been having short hair ever since I was like maybe 9 or 10. In the 90s, when you grew up like this, all the girlfriends around you, like they see you as tomboys, they don't see you as a girl. So they all want to prevent you. So I've never received any discrimination in my life ever. But it's also because I was lucky I never worked in China. So it was always school time and university time. But I know, sadly, most of my friends who actually continue to live and work in China, they have to go under a lot of stress. They have to hide their identity. And then they even need to have like fake marriage to make families happy, So I know actually the difficulties still exist. But I was very lucky. I moved to Germany when I was quite, young-ish. And then there I really felt the first time I was like, oh my God, like I'm seen being as a normal person. Even though before leaving China, I still feel I was seen being a normal person, but I can never tell my parents, right? But in Germany, everyone is just like, yeah, let's celebrate it. So normal. And when I stop working, like all the parties, I can bring her over as my partner. And
we don't have to pretend to be best friends or something.
Yeah, like proudly introduce to colleagues and everyone. Yeah, so this is my girlfriend, and later this is my wife. And even when we get engaged, like all my colleagues prepare gifts for us. Yeah, so that's something I could not imagine happening in China. Very hard to describe.
I think there is one thing that should be highlighted though. Even though maybe it's easier to be gay in the West, you will hear words being thrown at you sometimes.
Yep.
And I don't think that would ever happen here because people are like what you say, you want to be in peace. So it's like, okay, I see it, but I will just not see it in a way.
Agreed. They wouldn't like say anything or like even like come up to you, come
exactly.
do something.
Yeah, in China, people might see you, like, they might like just talk behind your back and say, oh look, there's a gay couple or blah blah blah. But
they won't come to your face. And
so the first time I actually met someone who was like really talking to me, like, oh, lesbians and stuff, that was in Berlin. Yeah, they will really tell you to your face like how they think.
Yeah, because like a lot of people assume that being gay couple in China or in Asia it seems like impossible. Like when you get shot or you get banned or something.
Oh, that.
So
no,
it's actually it's actually opposite.
We're basically in the gay paradise of China.
I know, yeah. Even me coming to Chengdu and just walking around, you see them everywhere. You see the gay people, they're very out there. I actually see them more here than I do in
Berlin.
In Berlin, for example. Wow. Maybe there's the difference because I think here there's a lot of tomboys, like wanting to look in a certain way.
Maybe we're talking more about lesbians, because gay people there you see a lot in Berlin as well. Yeah, but
specifically lesbians, maybe.
Yeah, like they are not obvious actually in Berlin.
No.
Yeah, but here there are so many.
Yeah, I really appreciate you guys willing to, share the love story.
Our pleasure.
Our pleasure.
So you guys do your own content, and if you guys are interested in Rebecca and Nicky's story, you can follow them on Xiaohongshu. I'm gonna tag you guys, and people are gonna expect you guys to post more.
We'll try our best.
Okay, awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alright, thanks for watching. If you are interested in Nicky and Rebecca's story, follow their social media for more. And if you want to learn Mandarin, check out Chinese 0 to Hero. So what do you think about the video? Share your thoughts in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.